what's going on with whatever is moderating the lives. Whenever I start a live, like in New Brighton, weird stuff happens. When I start a live in St. Paul, weird stuff happens. So I don't know what's going on. The lives that I do at home are not. I don't really have problems with those. So I don't know. But anyway, I was in a deep conversation about my upbringing and religion. And it was a nice conversation. And only the YouTube moderator will know what that was. And I'm perfectly fine with that because they'll come up again, you know. And so here I am. Oh, so cute. I want to show you guys my son's campus. And so this is a beautiful picture. Look at puppy. Love it. I love that he's getting this experience, you know? I love that. I love that for him. It is a very expensive experience, but it is worth every penny. And we have 2 more to go. So I think that my husband, I feel like my baby's having a long day today. So I don't know. I feel like he's having a long day today. I'm definitely not psychic. I'm not a witch, but I'm very in tune with people and human behavior, right? And those that are closest to me, I tend to get a sense of when, like what's going on, right? So when my dad passed away in 2022, it was in May, and my dad's in Cameroon, West Africa, and I'm in Minnesota. And so I started that summer, and I'd had a surgery. That's another thing too. So I started smelling his cologne. I know that sounds crazy as hell, but like when he passed away, I started smelling his cologne in my house, right? In my husband's office. Thank you for the like, boo. And what I did with that, because I will be the first to tell you that I'm very afraid. Like, I am definitely scared of a lot of things. Okay? And so what happens is the fear gets a hold of me, and then I start to back away from whatever it is instead of going right into it, right? And so when I was smelling him, I didn't go right into it to figure out what's going on. I didn't start making phone calls. I didn't even talk to anyone about it. I talked to my husband. I said, you know what's really weird? I smell my dad's cologne, and he knows that my dad used to wear Dracar Noir, which smelled different in the 80s, right? And so he would then listen to me tell him stories about my relationship with my dad, right? And then later on, I found out in July, so like 2 months after he had passed, I found out that his body was being held in the morgue in Hôpital Central in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, which my mom actually worked there, and she taught at CUSE, which is like their medical school there. She was medical faculty when I was growing up. We have a Kal Muhammad that says, Sister, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sister? Malaikum salam. I'm doing okay, thank you. Yeah, my dad, right? He has the angry emojis. So I found out that his body had been held at the morgue for about 2.5 months after he'd passed, before I found out that my dad was dead. And so I was in my 2L, so second year of law school at the time, at the St. Thomas here. I graduated. To God goes the glory. But it was definitely something. It was definitely an experience. And that's the thing that I love about my Catholic institutions. You will encounter white supremacy in its purest form in Catholic establishments in America, because that's really what I can speak from, right? And it really does shape you and mold you, and it really helps you to really be a better rounded person, especially since I wasn't introduced to God in my Catholicism by white American Catholicism. I was introduced to it by the colonial British Catholicism. No, let me stop. But it was my grandfather in the early 1900s, so 1901, who came back from, oh, that's a beautiful story. I should tell that story. I don't know if I've told it before, but I'll tell it again. So my mom's father was the son of the chief, right, in the village in Betu. And this is like 1900s. Like 1900s was when he was of age, and he built a community, a Catholic community, for the very first one in Cameroon, my home country, right? And he built it on the piece of land that he was given. I've skipped a bunch, but that's okay. That he was given when he was cast out. And it was called I want to say the Devil's Valley, something like that. I wasn't expecting to talk about this today, so I didn't review my notes. But anyway, it was Devil's Valley or something like that. And so there is where he was a catechist. He became a catechist. His job coming home in the 1900s was to take several wives after his dad had died. And he had been introduced to Catholicism by priests when he was studying abroad in England, right? I'm gonna say Britain, because that's what is said. I'm not sure if it's actually England. It could have been Ireland. I think it's England for other reasons, which I can talk about later. So anyhow, he refused, and so he was cast out. Some say they even wanted him to take one of his stepmoms as a wife. So it was like, so he chose my maternal grandmother, and there was a white Catholic priest there at the time that came, and because what happened is he got connected to the Vatican, right? Because the travels went to Rome. And then there was a priest that had come to the village, and he ended up my grandfather and my grandmother, who was now my maternal grandmother, were cast out. So they fled together to this valley that they had given him, because it was supposed to have very, very bad luck. It was supposed to have spirits. It was supposed to have like jujus and things like that. And from what I can understand from the accounts that are told, it was going to be a really harsh life. And so they were cast out. So the priest came and he married them, and then he well, sorry, he first baptized them and then he married them, right? He didn't get married to them, he wed them to each other, right? And so they went there and they started to just reach out into the community, right? The other villagers. And he started converting them to Catholicism. And then they built this very impressive cathedral, because this is Africa, this is the 1900s, okay? And it still stands. And it had even this, what is sophisticated for the time, sort of like sewage and irrigation system, right? So, anyhow, when I'm all that to say that my faith wasn't formed with the heavy white Christian nationalism undertones or overtones now that we see in America, right? So, yes, we had the picture that everybody had when it came out. I want to say, when was this? Was this the 30s where somebody drew white Jesus? I can't remember. Like I said, I didn't, prepare for this live or check my notes. But everyone had, all over the world, they had the white Jesus. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, the white Jesus. And so we even had that. We had the white Sacred Heart, Virgin Mary. We had those things, but that's just what everybody had. I remember one of the first talks that my mother had with me. It was bedtime. I was doing my prayers. And, you memorize the prayers, right? The standard prayers, you memorize them and then you say them. And I don't know. I didn't want to go to bed. Hello. So I don't know how my stream, and it's resuming. The kid is in the car. We've had our chat. Oh, there's a train. Lots of pollution. Let me just. And that's the caboose right there where the engineer goes. I keep having these issues. So apparently my phone overheated. I hope y'all can hear me. I think that that's very odd because my phone is never overheated. And we've had hotter days. And then before that, the stream that I was doing ended up cutting out. So my kid is here bareheaded, leaning. Yes, looking like a true international lawyer, international prosecutor at The Hague. And then we move. Save us! Save us from this. Let me cough before I say something. And I have phone issues again because we got no paranoia here. No one's paranoid. So, yeah. I guess I don't have much else to say. I'll close out. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Catch you on the next parenting heart to heart, my crucible. Maybe this is going to go in the religious tab too, because I was talking about religion and my relationship with God. Love you guys. God bless you. Bye.